Now, with few commitments made at the G20 Summit, environmentalists are now looking to Cop26 for concrete climate action. More than 100 world leaders are gathering in the Scottish City of Glasgow for the climate negotiations. VOA White House Bureau Chief Patsy Widakuswara is traveling with U.S. President Joe Biden and joins us now from Glasgow. Patsy, Presidents Biden and Jokowi are scheduled to meet in Glasgow on the sidelines of Cop26 in just a few hours. What's expected to come out of the meeting, Patsy?
The traveling press, because apparently there are 25,000 hotel rooms needed, and the city only has 15,000. And thank you, by the way, for airing that package that I filed from Rome last night before heading into Glasgow. I arrived in Edinburgh this morning at 5 o'clock. And as you said, this is a big meeting that's coming up between President Joko Widodo and President Joe Biden. It's scheduled to happen at 4 p.m., a couple of hours from now. And on the way to Glasgow, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan spoke to my colleagues aboard Air Force One and essentially said that the two presidents, the two leaders, will discuss issues of various concerns in the Indo-Pacific. Now, every time a U.S. administration official mentions the term Indo-Pacific security, it means one thing. It means how to contain China. So even though this meeting will be between President Biden and President Jokowi, the issue of China will be at the forefront, especially in terms of what the U.S. needs from Indonesia in order to help contain China's ambition, both militarily, in terms of maintaining freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, as well as the Taiwan Strait, and a number of economic issues. The other thing that the two presidents will be discussing are what are Indonesia's plans, because Indonesia, as you know, will be the next G20 leader, taking over presidency from Italia in December of 2021, ahead of the G20 Summit 2022 in Bali, which I will be very much looking forward to attend and covering. So Indonesia's outlines or agenda will be discussed by the two presidents. A couple of key conversions on the Cop26 summit today from the two leaders would be climate financing. This is a pledge from rich countries like the U.S. to developing nations like Indonesia in terms of providing up to 100 or minimum $100 billion a year to support developing nations to transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy, to mitigate climate change, essentially to help them to reach the global goal of reducing emissions to cap climate change and global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Iqbal.
Okay, and Patsy, we see that President Joko is pushing hard for more climate financing to help developing nations. How is that effort going, and does President Biden actually support it?
Yeah, so this is an effort that's been ongoing. It's been pushed by Indonesia as well as other countries, developing countries, including China, including India, this idea of climate justice, which essentially means developing nations saying to rich countries, look, it's all well and good that you're asking us to stop using coal, to stop using fossil fuels, to help the planet. But the reality is, you guys, the rich nations, you've been doing this for the past 200 years in order to get your economy to where it is right now. And so now it's not fair for you to just stop us or ask us to stop it like that. You need to help us by supporting us in terms of climate financing that I just mentioned earlier. Now, the U.S. is coming into this COP26 summit with some fresh initiatives, including a $3 billion per year by 2024 commitment to support that $100 billion per year by rich countries. I've actually not been able to look at the proposal closely because it was just announced by about an hour and a half ago aboard Air Force One by National Security Jake Sullivan. So we'll see whether this is actually real commitment or it's just more pledges, because one of the complaints by developing nations is that even though we hear all these commitments and pledges, much of the money has not materialized.